All right, we're going to try this again. Okay, I am live and we're going to wait to see if people come over here. I had a big issue. Let's see if we can get you guys over here. Hi, you guys. I don't know what happened, but give me 1 second. Okay. That was really strange, but thank you guys for heading over here. Okay. We made it. Welcome back. I don't know what happened. It was very, very strange. But somehow I got kicked off. But we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Okay. Untangled, episode 17. Let's get into it. Let's dive in. All right. So, first of all, welcome and thank you for being here for another episode. It's good to be here with you guys. It's good to connect. It's really good to connect. I was late almost by an hour because I was with Kyle Cease on his community, on a show on his online community that he has. We were having a really good time, a really good talk. So I was late, but here we are. So here, I want to talk a little bit about something that I experienced last night, and share a pretty personal experience that I've been going through. So a lot of you guys know, I'm just going to go right in. A lot of you, if you are familiar with me and my work, you know that I have once in a while I have these limiting beliefs that come in about my body, and when I was younger, not younger, when I was in my 30s, I had an eating disorder and went to a treatment facility for it. And every once in a while, especially in the last couple of years, this eating disorder, these thoughts come up, and they're strong and they're powerful, very powerful. And there are and I can feel it as an energy. Okay, I can feel it like something is almost taking over my body. It's really interesting to feel it. And it's very foreign, it's like something has come in and it's these intense thoughts of, focusing on what did you eat today? And let me try to think of other examples of what these thoughts would be. Um, um, Feeling like my body feels gross, right? There's a feeling around it, like my body doesn't, I feel gross in my body. My body feels fat, right? And because I've been aware of these thoughts for so many years um, and understanding where they came from, etc., I'm very capable of recognizing it, acknowledging it, seeing it, and letting it pass through. But last night I was tired of the thoughts just continuing to sort of pop in. I say it like they're like little pop-ups, like pop-up windows. Oh, here it is again. So I was laying in bed last night and I was tired of these thoughts coming in. I wanted to be completely free of them, completely free. And I sat and I started journaling, just journaling about the thoughts, journaling about my life with these thoughts. Back in the day, the behavior of the eating disorder, and just really sitting with all of it. And my guides came in really loud because I was talking to my guides. I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to my guides. And I prayed for them to take the thoughts and because it felt like it was in my body, like this energy that was swimming around in my body. And I was like, can you just take these, please? Can you take these from my body? This energy, this consciousness, whatever this is that comes in or arises from within. And they said to me, what if it's already gone? And I was like, what? And they said, what if the thoughts are already gone? What if they're not in your body anymore? How would you be when you woke up in the morning? And it rattled me. It really rattled me what they were saying to me, because I was like, oh, wait a second. So what you're saying is I have a choice. Now, you guys know I talk about this and I teach about this, right? But this hit me in a different way. I'm like, so what you're saying is that I have a choice in how I am choosing to show up with this thought. And they said, yes, what if the thought's gone? What if it's not in you? How would you be? And I started to realize, because then I said to myself, I will wake up in the morning and I will live as if the thoughts aren't there. It's not a bypass. It's an empowerment. It's a very different feeling. It's not bypassing. It is recognizing that I am above that thought, meaning that I am choosing what I put my pennies in. I am choosing what I am investing in. I have to choose it now. I have to choose it. And my guides were saying, imagine when you wake up in the morning. So this was this morning. Imagine when you wake up in the morning that every moment you're going to live as if you are in a new suit. Okay. And if and when those limiting beliefs or thoughts pop in, and this can be any limiting belief you have, that you're not worthy, that you're never gonna find a partner, that you can't find a job that you like. What is it? What's the limiting belief that you hold that is continuing to come into your life as like loudly? What is it? What keeps popping in that you are giving your power to? That you are literally throwing yourself to and saying yes to it. And what if it was no longer there? What if somebody came in and said, we took that limiting thought from you? How would you be in the world? That's how attached we are to our limiting beliefs and thoughts. It's almost like in some sick way, we need them. We depend on these suffering states. Who would I be if I didn't have these limiting beliefs? Do I believe that I'm worthy of miracles? That's the other thing I wrote last night in my journal. Show me miracles. And my guide said, do you believe in miracles? And I said, I'm willing to believe in miracles now. Show me miracles. We live in a quantum world. We live in a quantum field. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. It's our mind, our thoughts that tell us otherwise. And most of us will argue for our limitations. We will debate and stand firm in our suffering. I have to fight against this limiting belief. I have to overcome this limiting belief. What if it was simply gone? What if you woke up in the morning and you were wearing a different suit? Now, we've been taught the complete opposite. We've been taught that there are ways in which we deal with limiting beliefs. There's ways in which we deal with trauma. There's so many tools that we have out there. There's so many beautiful teachings and books and courses and seminars and all of that. But what if, just like in AA or any sort of addiction, we humbly say, this thought has complete control over me? We all have thoughts that have control over ourselves. Can you be humble enough to look at them? None of us are free of controlling thoughts. None of us. It's just a matter of, are we aware of the thoughts that we are allowing to control us? And what are yours? What are the thoughts that are creating a reality that you're sick and tired of? And maybe you don't have any. Maybe you truly are living a life that is um, pretty beautiful. But maybe you have a lot. Or maybe you're like me, you just have this one limiting thought that just keeps drilling into you that you're just sick of. You're sick and tired, you're done. It's exhausted you. And what if it's simply a moment of realization that it's actually gone? And it's the illusion that it's still here controlling you that's what's perpetuating it. And that it requires a huge amount of courage to step into a new suit and courageously be in a new way. So for me, on an energetic level, what it feels like is taking my power back. I don't know if this is making sense to you guys, but I'm just sharing what I went through. It's like I'm going to take my power back. I'm not going to buy into this belief of, I've got to do all of these things and I've got to work through this and I've got to go. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to just choose to take my power back, meaning I'm not going to give power to that thought 24/7. However often I need to remind myself that I'm in charge, not my limiting belief. I'm in charge, meaning I being the higher self, the observer. It's a very disempowered state when you give your control over to the limiting thoughts that you hold. And the only way that you know that you're doing that is that you have to be aware of your limiting thoughts. And a lot of us aren't even aware of the limiting thoughts that are creating a reality that we don't want to be in. And then we just bitch and moan and complain because we aren't even aware of the fact that it's a limiting thought that's controlling us. And then when we do become aware and are observing the limiting thought, we allow it, meaning we just let it take over, or we fight against it, right? We fight against it or we try to fix it. What if you simply brought to your awareness that it's no longer there? I don't know why that floored me, but it literally shifted me. I can't explain it. It was like last night I chose this is the other thing they said to me. They said, because I was like, please, I'm very close to my guides. I'm very, very close to them. Very, like they're family, like they live with me. They're in my house almost, okay? And I said to them, I said, why can't you take this limiting thought away? Why can't you just take it from me? And they said, well, first of all, it's not in you anymore. It's the belief that it is. So that's the first thing. And they said the second thing is that we don't have control over your free will. We don't have control over what you decide to do every day and what you decide to listen to and the actions that you take. We can't control you. You are the only one that can do this. You are the only one that can do this. No teacher, no book, no friend, no parent, no partner. It's just you. So that's an empowered, that's a state of empowerment. And it's the reason I'm sharing this is because so many of us live in the illusion of what our thoughts are telling us. And our thoughts are only real if we hand the baton over to them and say, okay, you're real. You're truth. You're correct. You're right. I'm suck. I'm going to be alone forever. I'm never going to make money. I'm never going to do what I came here to do. You know, for me, it was, I should say, you know, it's more of a feeling for me than a limiting thought, but it is a limiting thought of, uh, what do you feel like in your body? Does your body feel fat? Do you feel gross in your body? There's always this like awareness of my body. It's like, fucking fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't want to think about my body. I don't want to have awareness around my body. I'm so fucking sick of it. You know, I'm so sick of like I'm just tired of it. I don't want the awareness of like, what do you feel like in your body right now? Do you feel fat? Do you feel okay? I don't give a, I'm just tired of it. Serious, tired, just tired. Tired of that consciousness. What are you tired of? What's exhausting you to the point of like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't want this in my life anymore. We are choosing it. We're choosing it. We're actually listening to it and saying, oh, tell me more. Oh, tell me how I am again. Oh, tell me the way I see the world. Oh, tell me blah, blah, blah. We're doing that to ourselves. We're perpetuating our own suffering. It's so weird. It's like I've been in this state of like, oh, I just have to listen to this now. Oh, I just have to, fight against this. Oh, I just have to push through or whatever it is. And it's like, what if it's not here anymore? What if somebody came like a little magician and choop, the thought was gone? What if it's just you holding on to the thought that's creating it and continuing to perpetuate it? This process of evolution, this process of healing, this process of whatever words you want to call it, it's like it's asking us to continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like go even deeper. Go even deeper than that. Right? Find the little pieces in your life that are still creating suffering. Go even deeper. Get your little microscope out and just look at your life. What else are you listening to in your mind? What words are you using? Instead of being so busy and running around, keeping ourselves so busy that we can't look at the tiny little things that are still keeping us in suffering or disempowerment or enslavement. And then we pull ourselves into like, oh, everything's great. No, I'm fine. I'm living a great life. And you're in denial. You're in massive denial because you don't want to admit, or you don't want to have to go through, or you don't want to have to look at, or you don't want to have to feel. You don't want to have to see what you've been trying to cover up. But the freeing occurs. The party begins when you get so raw and humble with yourself that you just break down and you're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. I'm putting up my hands. I don't want to be in this fight anymore. I don't want to be in this struggle anymore. I don't want to be in this denial. If maybe it's denial for you, whatever it is. What's got control over you? What's got power over you in your life? What is it? It could be something small or it could be something pretty big, you know? But I woke up and I said, okay, it's gone. What if it's gone? What if I chose to see it that way? What if it could be that simple? I don't know. But what if? The way in which we heal, the way in which we process, the way in which we do shadow work or whatever we want to call it, it's all programmed, all of it. It's got to be like this. The only way that you can heal is this way. The only way you can get rid of addictions is this way. No, you've got to do it like this and like this and like this. It can't just be like that. You can't just do that, Lorie. You can't just say it's gone. Who said? How come? We argue for our limitations. We argue for our suffering. It's sick. There's a part of us that wants it to be difficult, that wants it can't be easy. The yeah, but it can't be easy. I'm sorry, what? Why? No, it's got to be a process and you got to do this and then you got to do that. Why? Who said that? What if there are other ways in which you can move through things and heal? What, there's only the old ways? There's only the long, intensive, efforting ways? Fuck that. I don't think so. I'm not living that way. If I got the guidance last night that it's gone and that it's up to me to stay in that state of awareness, okay, let's go. Let's do it. Let's see. Do I trust? Can I believe? Can I allow? Can I do it differently? Can I defy the ways in which this physical reality is telling me that life exists and life works? We're here to step out of all of the ways in which we're told that life exists and life works. Everybody talks about moving into 5D. Everybody talks about like the new earth. Everybody talks about the new world, but they're still in deep programming. They don't believe in miracles. They don't believe in things being easy. They don't believe in instant healing. And yet they're in 5D and they're in the new world and they're this and that and it's all bullshit. It truly is. Because If you are still allowing yourself to be controlled by anything that is the illusion of the physical world, meaning that you are identifying yourself as these things that you're experiencing. You're identifying yourself as thoughts, as beliefs, as behaviors, as relationships, as your job, as whatever, then you're still in some pretty deep programming, and we all are. That's the beauty of being humble in this human evolution. The more humble that we can be in where we are and what we're experiencing, and stop trying to pretend and bypass into some other realm that w- we're not in yet. If you have a limiting thought that is creating a reality that you wish you weren't in, and most of us are, if you're living in lack, if you're living in fear, if you're putting people down, if you're speaking bad about people, these are all ways in which we can acknowledge that we can see the fact that we are still far from where we're designed to be as a human collective. And the beautiful part about just talking about it and just being real about it is it breaks us free, because none of it is us anyways. It's all the illusion of the game we're playing. But we at least have to see the board game. We at least have to see the pieces on the board and the moves that we're making, because all of us want to be on boardwalk in Monopoly. I want to be on boardwalk. I want to be on boardwalk. I want to be on Park Place, right? Yeah, but you're on Continental Avenue or whatever that light blue one is. Where are you in your world? Where are you in your thoughts? Where are you in your beliefs? Where are you in your behaviors? And you look at it through the lens of compassion. People will say to me, "Yeah, but that's creating that reality." No, it's the opposite. The more that you can see what you are in, the more that you are able to see the reality that you have been unconsciously creating in your world. And it's through that humbleness of you actually seeing the thoughts, the beliefs, the ways in which you view the world, the words that you use. It's when you actually look at it and see it and humbly say, "Holy cow, look at this thought that continues to control me. Look at how I let fear pull me into these spirals. Look at this. Wow." Those are the moments that you're capable of starting to break out of it, choosing to step into a different suit. What if those thoughts are gone? What if those thoughts or those beliefs or those behaviors dissolve like that? Why not? But you have to see it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to humbly say, "Holy shit, look at that limiting belief," and not pretend it's not there out of shame or out of this idea or belief that you shouldn't be feeling this. You shouldn't be thinking this. There's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? This evolution is the moment you think that you are um, resolved of whatever it is the moment that you will be humbled into recognizing something else that has been controlling you or creating your reality for you. Because we are designed here to um, to be free, to be in this state of freedom while we continue to navigate the physical world. And the more you break free, the more you will see what is still trying to chain you to that prison. So for me, I live in a state of freedom in most of my life, but this thought it continues to pull me back to a prison over and over again. And it's so strong and so powerful because I give it that. I've believed it to be. Wow, this is a powerful thought. Wow, this is controlling me. Wow, this is always going to be here. How am I ever going to let this go? Instead of, you're gone. You're gone. I don't know. There's just something right now, you guys, about miracles. There's something right now about stepping into new ways of being that will shock us, meaning make our jaw drop, aha moments. It's very easy to talk about the stuff that we like to focus on, which is, you know, I don't know, the fun things out there, whatever it is, the stories of, you know, where'd you come from and what race are you and what what hybrid this are you or um, all kinds of like out there things. But it's being the human that sets you free. And it's being the human that's the most difficult for us. It's being able to look at ourselves in the mirror that frees us, not trying to figure out what hybrid racy we are or, you know, communicate, trying to go up on some galactic ship or all of that stuff that's happening. But what does that matter if you can't look at yourself in the mirror? What does that matter if you're still beating yourself up or beating other people up with your words or your ways of being? Or what does it matter if you are still creating a huge amount of lack in your life or fear or stress or anxiety? I don't give a hell shit what hybrid I am or where I came from or what galactic race I have in my DNA or any of that. Who cares if you can't actually show up and release the limiting beliefs and love your human and love what you're going through, meaning that you're surrendering to it, you're being humble to it, you're acknowledging it. That's the real work. But we don't want to do that. We want to somehow sort of bypass our way around it and step into something bigger and better without having to actually go through what we don't want to see within ourselves or admit or acknowledge or hear or feel. That's the biggest misconception of this entire experience is that it is in our deepest, darkest shadow that evolution arises, that freedom arises, that abundance arises. It is in the hiding from, running from, ignoring, pretending, jumping away from that shadow that we perpetuate it by pretending to be something other than what we're experiencing because none of it's us. It's the illusion. So none of it matters. You wouldn't be afraid of looking at yourself in the mirror. We got to get more and more humble. We got to get more and more real. We got to get more and more vulnerable and authentic and raw. I had something happen with a dear friend of mine this week, and sometimes when we get into um, conflicts with close friends or family members or lovers or partners, um, we will want to defend ourselves. We want to tell the other person how bad they are, or point out their shadow, or point out, what they did wrong, and how it's their fault or whatever that is. One of the things that I practice when I find myself in conflict with somebody close in my life is I will bring attention and awareness to how vulnerable can I be. So it takes a lot more vulnerability to say, wow, this is how I am, this is how I'm feeling, and yes, these are patterns in my life, and yes, this is what I do, and yes, I am working on this, and yes, I am doing my best, and yes, etc., etc. Vulnerability is saying, yep, this is how I'm showing up. Yep, I'm not proud of this. Yep, I'm doing the best I can. Really vulnerably and authentically just showing up as who you are, which isn't who you are, but it's the role you're playing. Yeah, do you have patterns? Yep. Do you have abandonment issues? Yep. Do they show up in these certain ways? Yes. Did I unconsciously do certain things? Yes. But what we tend to do is we get triggered because we don't want to see that vulnerability within us because we don't think it's okay. And so we go at the other person. We want to nitpick at them. We want to defend who we are. The only thing you're defending is the illusion that you aren't that wounded part of you that needs to be seen. So you're defending against a part of you that you don't want to see. And what is being brought up when you are triggered or are defensive is just a deeper wound within you that you can't accept about yourself, that you don't want to see about yourself. And the moment you can stop yourself from that knee-jerk reaction of wanting to defend or of wanting to get back at that person or tell them how wrong they are and tell them how bad they are and tell them that they need to go look at themselves in the mirror and all those things that we do, just stop. What's coming up in you? What's arising within you? What are you trying to defend? Go there. Look at that part and drop in deeper to that part and then express that vulnerability and watch everything shift. Because most likely the other person is waiting for you to combat, to fight against, to argue. And all that does is perpetuates the shadow, it perpetuates the trauma. The moment we stop doing that, we stop trying to defend against why we did what we did. And we look at that trigger deep within. You say to yourself, what am I trying to run from by defending that I'm not it? That's the part that wants to be healed. That's the part that wants to be expressed. Wow, I do these things. Wow, I do hurt people. Wow, I do walk away first. Wow, I do turn my back. Wow, yep. But you still honor who you are. You still honor the way in which you show up. You still hold firm boundaries. You still honor your resonance and what feels right and doesn't feel right. It doesn't mean that you have to keep these people in your life. It doesn't mean you have to accept bad behavior or rude behavior or messed up behavior or disrespect. You don't have to accept or allow any of that in your life. But it doesn't mean that there isn't a deeper part of you that is asking to be healed through vulnerability. So just because somebody may have what I would consider be, not say they were disrespectful or something, right? Or I don't know, whatever. I can still hold that awareness of how I felt. I felt that way. Yep. Disappointed, whatever it is, I get to have that. But what else is showing up in this back and forth that I'm having with my friend? What else is being shown to me? Oh, wow, I have abandonment issues. Yeah. Wow, I will avoid conflict. Wow, I will be, right? And then you just and then to boldly be able to voice it. It's not about accepting bad behavior. It's not about accepting any of that. It's about your own personal growth. There's this idea of, well, if I don't defend myself, then I am saying that this behavior is okay. No, 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 no. Boundaries around having that person in your life or not, boundaries of telling this person what is okay and not okay for you is very different than arguing and defending yourself. If somebody's coming at you and they're being mean to you or they're disrespecting you or whatever it is, there is a difference between defending and arguing and trying to explain why you are who you are, and firm boundaries of that's not acceptable. If you do these things, you can't be in my life. This is what I want from a friendship. This is what I expect from a relationship. And simultaneously, if there is a trigger, if there is a part of you that is really wanting to argue or defend, go deeper into you because there is a part of you that is still wounded that they triggered. And then voice that as well. It's just something to be aware of. The more that we are aware of the ways in which we are experiencing this world, the more we will become free. And I think freedom is felt, or freedom is experienced when we realize that nothing really controls you. It's hard to explain the state of freedom that you can feel. I mean, triggers are such a great gift. Here's an example. So, a friend of mine, this friend of mine, we were going through something, and they sent me a message, and when I was reading it, my whole body started to get, I could feel my whole body boiling. Okay. This is why it's so important to be in the body, embodied, because you will be able to pull yourself out of trauma responses, which means you're just perpetuating trauma. Okay. So, and like a victim mentality. So when I was reading this message that my friend sent me, my body started to get inflamed almost. I could feel my body starting to get tense. I could feel my body starting to almost vibrate with anger and frustration. And I recognized that as a response from reading that message. And I recognize that if I were to respond from this initial reaction, that I would be reacting to the message as opposed to simply responding from my highest truth. So the knee-jerk reaction is to immediately respond back. How many times have we done that? You can't help it. You're so angry. You're so frustrated. Your body is boiling. But it is in those moments that you need to pause because you're having a reaction as opposed to a response within you that is coming from a higher state of awareness or alignment, which is where true healing comes from, right? It's a deeper sense of awareness. So I sat and I just breathed and I breathed and I asked myself, what is this showing me? How can I show up for both of us in a way that is more neutral? What is my absolute truth in this? What is my absolute truth in this? What is my absolute truth? Because when we go at somebody and react, it's not your highest truth. It's a trauma response. Feels good, but then it's just going to perpetuate some sort of trauma, right? And then eventually you'll come out of it, but you'll say things you didn't mean to say. You'll hurt people's feelings and you didn't need to hurt their feelings, right? How many times have you gotten into a fight and an argument because in the heat of the moment, it took over and you said things you wish you didn't say, right? You wish you could take it back. It's because you went right into the reaction instead of looking at the deeper shadow and trauma and healing that was being asked within you. How many times have you gotten into arguments with somebody and you guys went at it, you went at it, you went at it, and then somehow you were able to find yourself resolved out of it with this love and light kind of feeling of like, oh my God, I'm so sorry and I love you so much. And this is what I actually meant. And I really just wanted to say this to you. But we have to, the really dense, traumatized human has to go through all of these steps first before they get to that space. How about you just get to that space? How about you bypass all of the trauma response of really needing to get the anger out and get the aggression out and get those things out. Instead, process it yourself. Go deeper within you. And instead of the reaction, you come from a higher state of response that you would eventually have gotten to, an hour later, 2 hours later, 3 days later. Who knows how long the quote unquote fight would have lasted or the disagreement would have lasted or the conflict. And you got to it at the beginning. I'm really sorry you're feeling this way. I completely hear what you're saying. I understand. Here's how I'm feeling. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's why I did what I did. Yep, I see that shadow in me. Yep, I see that trauma response in me. Yep, that is exactly how I showed up. Yep, that is something I've done my whole life, 1000%. So what? So what? So you have somebody that's calling out your trauma. I don't give a fuck. We all have trauma. So what? You don't have trauma? You don't have issues that you're still dealing with? Really? Wow. Okay. Didn't know. So what? You always act like this because this is something that you've dealt with since you were this and that, and you're always doing it. Okay. Yes, that is 1000% correct. Yep. You break down this whole notion that there's something wrong with us, that we should be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Relationships and friendships, meaning friendships, partnerships, they're the greatest gift because they allow us the opportunity to be vulnerable. They allow us the opportunity to stop trying to pretend that we've got it all together and that other people are the ones that are messed up and we're not messed up, that we don't have issues, that we don't have trauma, that we don't have knee-jerk reactions to things, that we don't, that we all do. It's part of the human experience, right? So we want to pay attention to that. Pay attention. Instead of going through the hours of argument and fighting and name calling and all the things that we used to do, just get right to the point. Be vulnerable, be raw. Practice it. See what happens. The person that you want to point out and show them all their horrible things, they don't need you to. They already know. This idea that you need to show them who they are and all their trauma and pinpoint it and dig deep, you don't need to do that. Most people are pretty aware of who they are and how they show up in the world. You can get to a much more potent place with people if you stop trying to focus on them and what they're doing wrong and what they need to see and all their trauma. Just you got enough to deal with yourself. Just take responsibility for you. Take responsibility for how you show up. Take responsibility for how you are being. Own it. Speak it. None of us are perfect. None of us are healed. We all have things that we're continuing to push aside or to hide or to pretend we do. It's okay. Big deal. Let's stop making this like this let's I mean like let's just all be as real as we can be. As authentic as we can be. Because it allows the other person and the other people to be okay with who they are as well. They let down the facade. They are able to break down. They feel safe. Again, if you want to understand what I'm talking about, think of any argument you've had and then the resolve that you got at the end and how much love there was at the end, how open you guys were together, how you were sharing so much of what you actually meant and what you actually felt and what you actually needed. We're barbarians in communication. Literally, we're barbarians. We have to yell at each other and beat each other up and say all these horrible things only to get to the actual heart, truly the heart of what we're feeling. The core, authentic, vulnerable, raw part of us that just wanted to be seen or heard, right? Did you feel like you were being abandoned? Did you feel like you were being unseen? What did you feel? That's where you want to go from the get-go. That's the place you want to get to in the beginning. And you're going to have to do it yourself first and let the other person that may not know how to do that yet eventually put their sword down and sit with you. It's definitely not easy. It's not easy, but pay attention. Pay attention to that. And before I go, pay attention to the limiting anything that you are believing that's creating a reality that you don't want. I don't want this. I don't want to be in this. I don't want to think this. Right? I'm always stuck in this. I'm never like, what thought are you attaching to? What belief are you attaching to? Meaning, what are you believing to be true? Can you even see it? Or is it such a natural response that you don't even see that it's a limiting belief? You believe it that deeply. Everything is a belief. Everything is a belief. And it's a matter of you choosing what you want to believe. That's it. It's truly that freaking simple. We get to make it as hard as we want it. And it's up to us. And we will continue to find ourselves arguing for the limiting beliefs. We will. Because we believe that the physical reality is matching that limiting belief. But the beliefs stem from a past. Most beliefs come from a past. You have to believe in something new. You have to believe in new. You have to believe in the unseen. You have to. Otherwise, you will continue to perpetuate the past, which is a physical reality that you experienced, so you believe it to be true. It's a lot easier for us to believe a physical reality than it is to believe the non-physical energetic world that's waiting for us to step into it. It's very difficult to step into new, to step into what we can't see, to step into something we haven't experienced yet. It starts with a belief. It starts with the belief. And the belief is what changes the frequency in your body, which creates a new physical reality. What belief are you holding? What belief are you hanging your hat on? I'll say that again. Your beliefs are going to create the energetic field that you're going to be vibrating out in, that's going to create the physical reality. Your body is holding much higher frequencies. Your body is holding much higher frequencies. That's what my guides meant when they said that limiting thought isn't in you anymore. My body isn't holding those frequencies any longer. It's holding much higher frequency. But me, the Lorie that identifies with that limiting belief, is still trying to hold on to that limiting belief, which is in a vibration that my body doesn't want to be at anymore. But if I continue to perpetuate that limiting belief, then that is the reality that I'm going to continue to experience, regardless of whether my body is in a higher frequency. That's what they meant when they said the limiting belief is no longer there. I didn't realize it until now as I'm speaking to you guys. That's what they meant. But our beliefs and our thoughts are more powerful than the frequency in our body. The limiting beliefs will create our reality. We have to get humble enough to accept that. No, I'm just going to stay in a really high vibe and just vibe my way through life. Well, you're ignoring any sort of density that's still being cleared from your body, which is trauma, which is limiting beliefs, limiting thoughts. You got to see it. You got to bow to it. You got to honor it. You got to be humble enough to say, wow, this has been controlling me. Wow, look at the reality I'm creating through a limiting belief that is only true because I'm allowing it to be true. So before I go, I just want to remind you, or I just want to ask you to investigate the beliefs that you're holding that are creating your reality. And what if certain beliefs that are holding you back are no longer in your body because your body is vibrating at a higher frequency and you're just holding on to old beliefs? It's like an illusion. It's a ghost. Let it go. Let it go. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing in another episode of Untangled. I hope this was helpful in some way. If there's anybody that would resonate with this in your life that you know would resonate with this information, please pass this video on. I will be showing up today at 2 p.m. California time for day 2 of my YouTube series, where I am talking about the divine design. And we're going to be talking about the 12D grid today. Really powerful. Love this information. It's so fun to dissect. So 2 p.m. California time, just in about 4 hours, right here on YouTube, day 2 of my YouTube series. And if you can't make it live, the replay is on YouTube. Be gentle with yourself, be gentle with others, and you got this. I love you.